Depression. The chances are, if you haven't experienced it, then someone you know has. There are nearly 1 million people in Australia that are living with depression at any one time. And around half of those are living with treatment-resistant depression, meaning that traditional antidepressant drugs don't work for them. In regards to the economy, loss of productivity due to depression costs Australia around $5.9 billion every single year. My name is Rannee, and tonight I'll be telling you about a possible treatment for treatment-resistant depression called transcranial magnetic stimulation, or TMS for short. So to understand how TMS works, we need to understand something about the physics of electromagnetics and something about the human brain. So electromagnetics, the laws of electromagnetics tell us that electricity and magnets interact with each other. They exchange energy back and forth like a pair of tango dancers. And so by using a magnet, we can create some sort of virtual battery somewhere in space nearby to where it is. And the thing about the brain is that it's made up of these cells called neurons, and they're what carry information inside of the brain. To activate a neuron is to basically change the information that it carries. And you can do that by placing a small battery across the surface of the cell. We know that certain areas of the brain are less active in people with depression. So theoretically, what we could do is place these tiny virtual batteries inside of the brain and stimulate those areas and treat treatment-resistant depression. So one way we could do this is to cut open the skull and directly place batteries inside of the brain. That seems unnecessarily complicated and invasive. So there has to be a better way. What if we place the battery across the surface of the skull and use that to trigger seizures and change the way that the brain processes information? That's the basis of a technology called electroconvulsive therapy. It costs around $3,000 for a single session. It has side effects like memory loss and also requires anesthesia. So there has to be a better way. And that's what TMS is. This is what a TMS machine looks like. And the bit we're interested in is the one at the end of the tube, that little black cylinder shape. That sits on the surface of the brain, and inside of that black box is a magnet. And as we said earlier, that magnet creates a tiny virtual battery that then is pushed by the laws of electromagnetics into the brain and stimulates the exact area that we want to treat. So by turning that magnet on and off hundreds of times every single second, what we're able to achieve is the change in information that we're looking for in order to treat depression. And that technology exists right now. It is being used in clinics across the country to treat treatment-resistant depression for some individuals. In the future, well, TMS has been shown to reduce auditory hallucinations in schizophrenia better than some traditional drugs. And it also has indications that it may be helpful in reducing drug dependence in cocaine use disorder. And in the future, well, if we improve our knowledge of the human brain, we might be able to personalize the treatment, to be able to treat people with the specific area of the brain that we find through medical imaging techniques that we feel need to be stimulated, instead of the one-size-fits-all approach that is currently being used. And if we improve the technology, we will have magnets that are able to stimulate deeper inside of the brain, more specifically, and maybe even using a neurological paradigm called fire together, wire together, which is exactly what it sounds like, by stimulating two areas of the brain in rapid succession, be able to change the way that the brain is physically wired to itself. So, and it's not just the people that are being treated with TMS that are seeing the benefits. All of us as a society can benefit. Increasing productivity, increasing the connection that we have with friends and family who may suffer from these mental illnesses. The list goes on and on and on. TMS combines knowledge from the physics of electromagnetics and the biology of the brain and brings them together with some clever engineering in order to create a technology that will help us to create a healthy future for all of us.